Hopefully I set everything up correctly. Short stream today. Short stream, easy stuff. We're actually having a bonus stream. So today is normally our Nerdy Sermon Talkback, but because of a rendering error, we actually rendering error. Where am I from, son? Rendering. There was a rendering error, and so we're not able to do that today. So we had a rendering error last Sunday, and so we weren't able to have our Nerdy Sermon come out on time. And so because of that, I thought, well, I could either cancel the Nerdy Sermon Talkback or start chipping away at our mountain of bonus streams. And so we're going to do the latter. So, welcome to chipping away at the bonus streams. Our first game that we're going to be chipping away at. Oh, I need to change this. Do it. Our first game that we're going to start chipping away at is going to be Moonglow Bay. Moonglow Bay. This was recommended to me a couple weeks ago by DaneThePain. So we're going to give it a shot. I've heard good things about it. I've heard excellent things about it, actually. It seems like my kind of thing, you know? Right up my steez. Full transparency, I've actually started it before. But I didn't get very far. Not even because I was disinterested, just because I got busy. But here we are. Here we are, here we are. Exciting stream today. Folks, I got ulcers. You guys know what ulcers are? Like canker sores in the mouth. I've bit my lip in the same place like 3 times this weekend. And so now I feel like I'm going to be talking funny for the rest of the stream because today is the day it's finally decided to ulcer up. I'm not even that stressed. So normally what happens, I get stressed, and whenever I get stressed, I get ulcers. This time, no stress. I'm just being a dummy and biting my mouth on accident over and over and over. Let's see if I can get this where I like it. That looks pretty good. I do have a new set. I have a new set, and that's very exciting. I can show it to you guys. Do you want to see the new set? Should that be a reward for early girly gang? Does early girly gang get to see the new set? I think that would be a good reward. It's like a reward. It's like a reward. It's not decorated yet, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out, and we're gonna go with nice. There's my feet. Okay, I'm gonna cover the camera until I get over here, just so you guys don't. I don't know what you would see, but just in case you might see something. So this is our new set area here. Check this out. We got our couch, looking a little sus if you see my TikTok. And we've got some hanging shelves here behind it. Now this is actually a metal poster, which is pretty neat. We've had this for a while, I just didn't know what to do with it. I mean, the only thing I've decided to hang up so far is my State Alchemist poster. That's all we got so far. So, pretty neat. Pretty neat. Did I show that all to you guys? Okay, perfect. I'm glad it's upside the correct angle. So yeah, this is our new category, our new place where maybe we'll start filming some stuff. I haven't decided what should go there, but we have it, so you know, why not give it a shot, right? Morning time to fish in the bay. What's up, Dane? Yeah, this is your wreck here, my friend. Your wreck. We're excited to play it. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start right at 9. Only playing for an hour. That's going to be these bonus streams. They're going to be hour long, just to keep me sane. Because if I play them for longer than an hour, I've got so many bonus streams in the backlog that it's going to take me forever. Did I change it? I did. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's just get right into it. Let's just hop right into it. I'm gonna go drop over in general. We're live with a bonus stream. Let's head to Moonglow Bay. At chat. And then I'm gonna drop a GIF. Okay, Moonglow Bay does not be popping off enough to have a GIF. So we're just gonna have this guy fishing. Alright, let's do it. Sane, what is that, right? Ain't that the truth? Alright, I assume this game has music, so I'm gonna go ahead and whoop, turn that off. And then grab my controller here. And then we're gonna go to game cap. Wink. Oh boy. Oh boy, I need to turn on my stream deck. Wink. Wink. Nice. Alright. Let's play. Yes, access my info. Come on. Come on. Xbox Live? We're on a time limit here, buddy. Syncing data. Oh, good. That didn't take very long. All right. Let's go to the bay. I am down for it. How's everybody's morning? What's up, Stained? How we doing, my friend? How are things going? New game. Who are you? I guess I'm this fella because he's got a beard. I am a he. My name, I guess I gotta use my keyboard, is Check. Doing good, though feeling a bit meh. Boil water advisory in town, making life funky. Oh man, what does that mean? Who's my partner? Maxine, Robin, or Casey? Well, Casey's my sister name, and that makes me uncomfy. I'm gonna choose Maxine because that looks at least a little bit like my wife. Boop. Tell me more about what is a boil water advisory? You can't boil water? Or you should boil your water because your water's dirty. Oh, interesting art style. Check. Come on, you guppy. Grab the line. Big chunk of Baltimore has to boil water for over a minute because of E. coli in the water? Yo, that's insane, Dane. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. That is funky. I would feel so uncomfortable. I would be like, boil it too, honey. No sense in limiting it to 1 minute. Let's go for 2. Let's go for 10 while we're at it, you know? Fishing is easier than it looks, I promise. What are you afraid of? Nothing except for the water, the monsters, the curse. You know what the locals say. They're just stories, every one of them, I promise. Here, let me show you the basics. Follow along with me. First, stand in a decent fishing spot, like at the edge of the boat right here. Then select the fish and hook icon to begin. Moonglow will make me feel cozy. Oh, I'm so glad. Now to cast the line. Fish will be more cautious if you cast near your boat or the shore. The further you cast, the more likely something will bite. Press and hold that button to cast your line. The longer you hold, the greater the distance. Yeah. Perfect. Now be patient, keep the lure still, and wait for something to bite. The moment the lure dips under, press and hold right trigger to hook the fish. Be quick or it might escape. Once hooked, continue holding RT to reel it in. But you got it, dude. Got him. He got away. I did hold RT. The early game not as cozy, gets the feels going. Yeah, so full transparency, I did start this game one time, and I know that your SO pretty much immediately dies. What? Okay, alright. I am holding right trigger. Okay, let's try it again. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing. Holding. What? What is happening? Is that not right trigger? Have they changed the buttons? You're gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong? Pull back on the stick? Nobody said pull back on the stick? Nobody said pull back on the stick? Nobody said pull back on the stick. She said hold RT, homie. Alright, well that is working. Did I just read past that? I swear she didn't say that. A grating bellyfish. Knows SO dies immediately, picks one that reminds him of his wife. Yeah, well, I mean, we all gotta go someday. Easy when you get the hang. Give it another go, this time without my help. Actually, the only one that helped me was Dane. Honey. I got a little too quick. I got a little anxious. Get on here. Huh? Nope. That way. Oh no. Was I wrong? What rod am I using? The Pixel 9000, obviously. This game can be wonky at times, so just get good. Fantastic, and a different species. We'll need a variety to cook and sell for our new business. Uh-oh. Did I misread the schedule? I thought this was Nerdy Sermon Talkback Day. It is Nerdy Sermon Talkback Day. However, we did not upload a Nerdy Sermon Talkback this past... What's up? That's a whale. That's a good rod. But yeah, this is supposed to be our Nerdy Sermon Talkback Day. However, we didn't have a Nerdy Sermon this past Sunday. Oh, all NPCs are freaking out. We had a rendering error. So, I decided to fit in a bonus stream, because I could have just canceled today, and that didn't feel right, because we got so many things on the backlog. This town's ridiculous superstitions. No wonder the fishing trade is ruined. I like that puppy dog. Hey, puppy buddy. But the bay's full of amazing creatures, all waiting to be discovered. We'll find them and share them with the world. On that note, here, to celebrate our new adventure. Hey, what happened to No More Surprises? It feels like a book. I'll open it tomorrow night once you're back. Holding hands. That's how I hold hands. You still want this, right? We could always go back to Ontario. Of course, moving here, it's your dream. But I'm asking what you want. What's your dream? My dream hasn't changed in 40 years. To spend every day with you. Then I'll be right here, the whole journey, by your side. Liar. Welcome home. Bold decision of the game devs to start this game by fridging. Bold start. Three years later. That's my living nightmares that my dog outlives my wife. Fridging, yeah. Fridging refers whenever you kill the love interest at the beginning of a story. Is that the Disney start? It actually comes from Green Lantern. But yeah. It comes from whenever Hal Jordan came home. I think it was Hal Jordan. It might have been Jon Stewart. I'm pretty sure it was Hal. It'd make more sense for it to be Hal. It came from whenever Hal Jordan came home and found his wife's body in the fridge. The more you know. Hey, Dad. River, why aren't you in Quebec? I always just called it a Disney storyline because they kill off a parent right at the start. Yep. I gave my notice. Some things are more important. My daughter comes to live with me? Oh, this is too real, actually. I'm glad I can't name her, because I would name her Nora or Quinn, and then I'd get real sad. Is this it? Presumption of the aforementioned believed to be dead, owing to an absence of no less than 3 years. Wow, it's all so real. The first episode of Wheel of Time show got a lot of flack for inventing a character just to fridge her. Oh, that is weird. To have a source material and then create a character and then kill him. It's great you're here, but I'm fine, honestly. Actually, I got a new job. I'm overseeing the Centennial Festival. You're doing what? Here in Moonglow? The mayor says it'll be a huge boost for the community, and people need the support. The whole bay's been struggling for years. When the fishing trade collapsed, half the town closed down. If we can't attract new visitors soon, Moonglow Bay might never recover. Anyway, on to brighter things. It's time you open that present. The letter? Is the letter the present? Is a book. A fishing journal? To my darling, check for the journey by your side. You've been holding on to this for 3 years, Dad. Maybe it's time to write a new chapter. You're saying I should restart the business? Precisely. A new street food stall is exactly what this town needs. You would be an inspiration. We should head out right now and catch some ingredients. Okay. Let me tidy first. If I'd known you were coming and ruin the surprise. Okay. I'll be down on the beach. A caller from Quebec. Hi, Maxime. It's been 3 years. Some days are a little easier, others are impossible. Last week, a letter arrived declaring you're dead in absentia. So naturally, our daughter dropped everything to come here. Thank you for my journal. I'll treasure it always and write to you often. My wife went missing? Is that what I'm understanding? She went missing? She's not dead? So she could still potentially be alive in the game. Interessant. Especially since the character they were trying to manufacture drama for already had drama built into him, like the show's whole family gets murdered eventually. Just start there. If this game turns into a sweet roller coaster tycoon game to help revitalize the town's economy, I'll be hyped. Good morning. What's up, Christina? You don't build too much, but lots of helping neighbors to save the town. I love it. Okay. Tidy up the noodle packets. I guess I gotta clean up some trash. Trash. That's so many noodles. You fish, explore, and cook for money. I love it. All right. I feel like that's pretty clean. Looking pretty clean. Gotta make this place look nice. Okay, that's the last of it. The trash can's outside, since you clearly forgot, Fisher. Is Fisher the dog's name? That's adorable. Done did it. Oh, I'm much faster outside. Hello, deer. Hello, literal deer. Tons of North Canada vibes. Very interesting. All right, where am I to go? I see a little icon down there. Does that mean that's where I'm supposed to head? Could that be what that means? You were right. The streets are so empty. I barely noticed before. The town needs investment, pure and simple. But at least you have everything you need for business. Your fishing rod, the kitchen, and a place to sell food. First things first, let's catch some ingredients. You got it. Good thing my dead wife taught me 3 years ago. Whoops, I did it again. When reeling, you can use a quick burst of effort to haul the fish in a particular direction. This technique is called striking. To strike, move against the direction the fish is swimming and press LT. Just don't strike too often or you'll tire yourself out. Yeah! Yeah! So it's in the direction they're going. I didn't think so. I'm tired! I'm so tired! A ling! Nice. Yeah, I know it's light on actual information. I'm an accountant, not a bloomin' marine biologist. I'm sure the aquarium can help fill in the details. Opposite direction, you're yanking the fish towards you. Yeah, that's what I thought. Since we're here, let's recap water behavior and luring. When reeling a fish, it will behave in one of 3 ways depending on its species. Fast species will dart around quickly to wriggle free. Reflexes are key. Aggressive species will use a combination of speed and strength to escape. Finally, resilient species are slow-moving but strong. It'll take several powerful strikes to haul one in. Fortunately, you can attract specific fish by using lures. Give it a go. Select a lure and cast your line. You got it. The jig will attract aggressive and resilient fish. The spinner will attract fast and aggressive. And the plug will attract resilient and fast. Remember to check which lure you're using whenever you cast. I literally could not care less about this part. We're going to go with the jig. There you go. There's your answer, out of sense. I'm using the balanced rod. Now we know. Nope, wrong way. I'm pretty much the best at this game. As you catch more and explore, I'll tell you. It'll tell you in the book the exact lures and rods to use for what fish. Fascinating. Perfect. Finally, a word on bait. Baiting your line is essential to catching larger species of fish. BRB. Well, see you, Dane. Might as well be Jerome Wade. Baiting your line is essential to catching larger species of fish. There are two types, low grade and high grade. If you cast with no bait, you'll only attract small species. If you cast with low grade bait, you'll attract small and medium species. If you cast with high grade, you'll attract medium and large. Try it now. Select the lure and bait grade and cast your line again. Well, I want the biggest they got. Oh, I don't have any of those. Okay. Okay. Hee-yah! Hee-yah! Here we go. Hope y'all are ready for these skills. I don't think you're ready for this yet. I don't think you're ready for this yet. I don't think you're ready for this. Ha! The best! Alright, he's actually pretty small. He's actually pretty tiny. Thought I was catching bigger fish. Excellent. Remember, there's a huge range of sea creatures out there, so mix up your lure, bait, and location to catch a variety. Just be sure that your bait is limited, or be aware that your bait is limited. Be careful you don't run out. Until the sea market reopens, high-grade bait in particular will be in short supply. Whoa, stop the press. Oh, they spell whoa wrong. Oh, it bothers me. It bothers me so much. Check Fisher is out of the house before midday. Hey, Abby, you remember River? Of course, what brings you to our shabby little burg? Wait, Check, is that... You finally opened it? It's a fishing journal. Maxime and I had a thing for these waters once. In fact, I'm reviving the business. Selling street food straight from the ocean. Check, you are gonna... Nice. Thanks, Abby. Sorry, but in 3 years you never struck me as outdoorsy. Too real, sorry. Maybe it's time for a change. It's not. In that case, Captain Noodles, you're gonna peddle Piscine cuisine from the most cursed cove in Canada. I insist you learn how to cook. Follow me. Okay. Here I am, learning to cook. All right, okay, check. If you're selling street food, your kitchen is going to be your new best friend. To create a meal, you need 3 things: raw fish, the recipe, and enough shells to cover the cost of any extra ingredients. Collected recipes will appear in your journal. When you step into the kitchen, you can browse and choose which meals you want to make. It looks like I can make fish and chips, or I can make fish cakes. Yeah, I don't have any money, so I can't make. I want to make clams, so I guess I got to do this. Will the sell price go up depending on what fish I cook? I like the look of the pollock. Ooh, I can batch. Okay. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Wait, what? What's happening? Okay. Get fish, wash, chop, boil, fry, bake. Your kitchen is always stocked with supplies, so the only ingredients you need to source are the fish. Okay, first go to the fridge and collect the necessary ingredients. Move to the different stations around the kitchen to follow the instructions. First we wash. Be surprised. Mistakes will lower the quality of every meal and its sale value. Wash! Oh. Move that to follow the marker and then rinse the ingredients. Whoa. Whoa! Oh, come on. Alright, well I did okay. Ah! Press when the marker is in each hit zone to chop. Perfection! Dirty fish. Alright, chop, boil. Mash them. Keep that to keep the water at the correct temperature. Perfect! Fry. Ooh, I gotta hold it until just the right zone. Kapow! Ha ha ha! Yes! Tap it, press the oven, press when the oven marker reaches the zone. Okay. Kapow! Done it! Great, there are other stations around the kitchen, but you'll figure them out. done did it. Look at me. The girl with the gall. Alright, so did I do all of them? Finally, always remember to put your cooked meals out for sale. The storage box in your front yard will have to do for now. Gross. Disgusting. I would actually not like to buy fish from your storage box, in fact. That sounds real nasty. Turns out storage box fish sounds bad. Perfect. Here you can sell the fish you catch and the meals you cook. The outdoor boy of fish cakes. Fish and meals will sell gradually throughout the day, and the shells you earn will be transferred directly to your account. I get a vending machine? Instantly fails. Yep, health and sanitation is out the window. This old box isn't very appealing. You should upgrade to a proper machine. Oh, there you go. Harugoto runs the tech shop. He'll give you a good deal. Speaking of new people, if you're exploring the waves, you'll need to recover your trawler. Chat to Sarah at the boat shop. Finally, for information about fish species and filling in your journal, speak to Marina at the aquarium. Check, you're really serious about this? No one's been out of these waters for 3 years since Maxime, I know. There are dozens, hundreds of strange and dangerous creatures out there. We both know what it's like to lose someone. I'll be okay, trust me. So, Sarah, Haru, and Marina, I'll see you soon. What's up, puppy? Oh, now he's following me. I didn't want this. I actually did not want co-op. I didn't know there was co-op. That's very fun. All right, Marina, Haru, and Sarah. Can I like... Oh, I can untrack. Well, I want to do... I guess I'll do them whenever order. It doesn't matter, does it? Whoop, all this way. Stay here, puppy. Stay at home. Stay home. No, get out of the street. Get out of the street, puppy dog. I don't want you hit by a car. I can't lose you, too. What's up? Are there things to, like... Should I be collecting things? Should I be fishing right now? Is that a thing I should be doing? Or do I just need to go through the story? What's all this debris, dude? Clean up your beach, yo! Oh. Oh no, he's staying. Hopefully he'll go back home. We're just gonna tell ourselves he's gonna go back home. Is there no music? It's weirdly silent. It is very, very quiet. If there's music, it's incredibly quiet. Like, you might hear it. I'll crank up the desktop audio and see if you guys can even hear it, but it's very quiet. Oh, Gachapon, a movie game. I didn't even see that.
Good job on Dick. Gachapon. Oh, star.
I honestly don't remember the music situation. It's just very, very quiet. Co-op is fun, but you have to share the screen, so a little funky. Never tried online. Gamba! Gamba time, Zando. I'm gonna get your Gamba and your movie game. Folks, it is time for double points. So I'm going to start our Gamba, and then after I start our Gamba, I will I'll read off your prompt. There's Zando. Creator dashboard. All right. Start a prediction. Remember to bet your channel points because you could win big. Has Nerdpastor Nate ever owned a selfie stick? Yes or no? 1 minute on the clock. Bet for points. Don't tell anybody. If you know the answer, I'm really only saying that because Out of Sense is here. Yes or no? Get those channel points in. Get those channel points in! All right. While this is going, Zando, here is your latest movie game. 3 Vegas-stranded bachelor party dudes need to find their Doug and elicit the help of a blonde amateur detective notorious for solving high school mysteries. This is easy peasy. 3 Vegas-stranded bachelor party dudes need to find their Doug and elicit the help of a blonde amateur detective notorious for solving high school mysteries. Zando, do you know the answer? That's a very good one. All right. While we're at it, back over to this game. Oh, and probably channel points are almost ready. All right. Prediction is a go. The answer is, has Nerd ever owned a selfie stick? The even better answer would be, yeah, I currently own a selfie stick. Yes. Yes, congratulations. Chats in the clap to the 3 people that just won big. Enjoy your channel points, my friends. Enjoy them, enjoy them. Okay. Back over to here. The Hangover Veronica Mars. You got it. Chats in the clap for Zando as well. We got so many chats in the clap right now. Music is so quiet. Let's see if we can, like, crank it. Let's see if we can crank it up. It's so quiet. Well, what in the world? Why is it so quiet? All right, we're gonna turn it up, baby. You ought to be able to hear that a little better. Tell me if it's too loud now. Hey, check, Fisher, and hello to you, Sarah. Johnson, been a while, huh? Finally come to collect your trawler? Exactly, the 2 cats.
Yeah.
Seriously? I thought I was making a joke. Clearly not a very funny one. In that case, let me find your paperwork. The 2 cats, yes. Clogged fuel pump, the intake valve is shot. 3 years storage, you got off easy.
Yeah.
It'll be 100 clams for the repairs. You can pay once they finish the work. 100 clams? Are you sure? That seems low. Yeah, don't worry, it's the least. For Maxine. Just give me a little time to finish up. I'll be in touch once the repairs are complete. Thank you, Sarah Johnson. Aquarium! Welcome, apologies, the aquarium isn't open for visitors. Oh, I'm not a tourist. I'm looking for Marina. At your service. Oh, wait, check, right? Maxime's husband? This is way too relatable because, first off, nobody knows who I am in my community either because my wife is always the one that does the talking. This is just, everybody likes Logan more. This is true. Maxime was the soul of this place, the only sailor unfazed by all the legends. Someone who truly recognized the potential of both the aquarium and Moonglow. Potential? For what? Yeah. To be famous! There are countless species out there unique to these waters. Just a handful would make the aquarium a huge tourist attraction. With a little investment, we could study the whole aquatic biome, turn this archaic town of myths and monsters into a hub of scientific progress. But when Maxime vanished, those dreams vanished too. I really thought she was dead. How can I help? I'm fishing for my seafood business anyway. I can continue where Maxime left off. That would be incredible, but it's a huge undertaking. Quite simply, the aquarium needs new species, as many as you can find. The more unique creatures we house, the more new visitors we'll attract. Business across town would benefit, including yours. Every new species you bring in will boost your sales. Great, where do I start? To begin, just bring me 3 new species, any 3 you can find. Too bad I just cooked most of them. I guess that was a whoopsie. Wait, did it just send me on another quest? I want to talk to Haru still. Oh, I see, I am. Welcome to the wide world of fishing. Yep, I think we got plenty of fishing to be done. Haru! Haru, my friend. Oh, here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, check. Long time no see. What can I help you with? Selling fish. Fish? Yes, fish. Why are we whispering? It's just been so long since anyone sailed the bay. What are you currently using? Not much. My storefront is basically a storage box in an honor system. Oh, that's just sad. What you need is a windowed polyvent. A vending machine for seafood? Absolutely. My dad ordered a few on special import. But with half the town shut down, our 3 units in stock are proving tricky to shift. Tell you what, cook up and bring me a sample of a simple fish and chips. Maybe I can swing you a new customer discount on the display model. Sounds more like cooking you lunch discount, but okay. Luckily later in game, you get a net and trot line to catch multiple fish at a time. Ooh. I like it. Whoa, look at your hair, huh? Wow, that's a lot. You're a lot to look at, lady. Wow. Pow. All right. I'm gonna go make some fish and chips. Is this my home? Where's my home? Where's my home? How far away am I? There I am. Okay. I'm gonna make some fish and chips. Do I have to collect the money or is it just automatically done for me? Looks like it's done for me. All right, I'm gonna make some fish and chips and then I'm gonna go catch some fish. Then you pull back the camera. Ooh, nice to know. All right, fish and chips. Love it. Slicing tail, easy. First, chop. Do I have to get the fish? Yes. Chop. Kapam! Alright, and here we go. And here we go. Ha ha ha! Perfection! Perfection! Fry. Yeah! Ha ha! Very close, very close. A little nervous. A little nervous, but we managed. Potatoes. Chop. Here we go. Kapam! And kapam! Brilliant. And now boiled them. Easy peasy. I think it's easy. Perfection! My goodness, they're brilliant. Genius. Oh wait, no, I don't want to get one. Okay. Now we're gonna go and we're going to pull back the camera. Love that. Oh, love that. Oh man, why would anybody ever zoom this in? That's so much better. We gotta find our boys' shop here. Where was it? Oh. All right. Didn't realize that I couldn't get through there. Thought for sure I'd be able to get through pretty much all the areas. I'm acting like I already have this town memorized, and I definitely do not. That looks familiar, though. Sponge Boy Me Bob. Hello, Miss Goto. Oh, you're not the right person! I run a small business, and I'm gauging interest in different recipes. You seem like someone who knows a lot of people. What are you implying? Nothing, just that you know everyone in town. Nothing untoward. I don't usually care for seafood, but perhaps I could sample your surf and turf? Sure, no problem. Happy to oblige. I'm actually looking for your son. I'm actually here looking for your child, your progeny, if you will. Would you mind directing me to your child? Oh, there you are. And how's our fledgling chef? Stock this recipe. Is there a specific fish I need for fish and chips? No, any will do. Just follow the recipe. I literally have it. Done. They're brilliant. Love it. Haru, your fish and chips. Impressive. Let's see. Attractive, plated, well-seasoned, street style. Your presentation's top-notch. The window polyvin is exactly what you need. Eye-catching and simple to use. Your customers will happily pay a little extra per dish. Tell you what, I'll deliver the display model straight to your house. It's all yours, no charge. That's extremely generous. Nah, just keep cooking what you're cooking. Think of Haru when you need an upgrade. Thanks. So do I have it already, or do I need to get it? Does it come like tomorrow or something? Starting to feel like I'm too good at this game, you guys. How do I equip my fishing rod? Because I feel like I should be able to fish. Do I have to equip it? Do I have to like go into fishing mode? Oh wait, I do have it? How do I go into fishing mode? I did! Oh, I see the signs. I see the signs. Opened up my eyes, I saw the signs. Never gonna give you. Done did it. Pollock. Did they mention the signs? Did anybody say anything about the signs? Grading bellyfish. That's 2 new types. Boing. Uno mas. Ooh, it's getting to nighttime. Night fishing. Child of the moon. Don't mind if I do, child of the moon. Here we go. All right. Time to drop off some fishies. Can I zoom out even further? Oh my goodness, this is delightful. Are you Marina? Check, how are you gathering those 3 different species? Working on it. How come no one's helped you out these last 3 years? Because of the curse. Sailors don't dare go out. I can fish from the pier, but I'm a hopeless mariner. You don't need to point out the irony. Donate fish. Yeah! 1, 2, 3. Done.
Yeah.
They don't mention everything. One of the things it lacks at times. Fantastic! This place is fully coming alive! I can't wait to tell Olivia. At this rate, we'll need to buy a whole new wing! Though this is only the beginning, right? You'll need more. Absolutely, lots more. This is an ongoing enterprise. Remember, you're helping the whole community. Every new fish increases the sale price of the meals in your vending machine. Plus, as a personal thank you, I'll provide all the information I can in your journal. How did you know I had a vending machine? Are you watching me? Facts, fishing tips, plus any interesting folklore I come across. Moonglow Bay has been plagued by myths and mysteries for decades, but with your help, we'll turn this ailing town into a beacon of progress. Just remember, when you catch a new species, bring it straight here. Am I going to be able to remember? There is a day and night cycle, and you do get sleepy, but no penalty for staying awake or not sleeping. No hard cutoff like Stardew. Very nice to know. Then I will never sleep. I'm too hungry for progress. I could never sleep when progress is on the line. My town, my town. My country for a town. Do I have my vending machine? I do! Look at my vending machine! Wow! Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, raccoon! Come here, 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 come here. I can't do anything with them, alright. Well, I guess we're just gonna fish. Oh. Success! I recovered the 2 cats and purchased a new vending machine. And that suddenly makes you Felix Wilson? Who? The angler, famously. So what now? You attack the bay with a rod and a plucky attitude? Why? Is there something else I need? A net for starters. Come on, let me show you. I forgot you walk everywhere at first, you get transportation later. I love that. Do I get like a car? Or like a Vespa? Net fishing is a great way to acquire bait or to catch several small fish at once. It's also the only way to catch species that cannot be lured. See those black insects? Those are sand fleas. I love sand fleas! Sand fleas provide you with low-grade bait, ideal for most fish in the bay. To cast your net, tap blank to build power, and then blank again to release. Release when your arms are fully extended for a bigger throw. Give it a go! Oh, building power! Building power! Now to haul in those fleas. Hold RT to drag the net back in, and move to guide it left or right across the swarms. I actually feel like I barely got any of them. Did I get anything? I got one. I love him. Gotta go edit a vid, see you in the Discord. Rock on, Stain. Great, once more. Cast out and reel in those swarms. Ha-ha! The greatest. Why are those people watching me? Catch sand fleas. Yes! Excellent. Feel free to come back and catch more anytime. Every sand flea produces 3 pieces of low-grade bait. And you'll certainly be doing the beach favor. The duck. A 1.5 kilogram sand flea would be crazy! Yeah, they're like tiny. Now you can take what you've learned out onto the bay. Just look for any dark areas in the water, cast your net, and you're sure to find something. Hey, Dad, I just saw Sarah at the boat shop. The 2 cats is ready to go. For the record, I really don't like you sailing out into the great blue yonder. Why? Because of the monster? Do not joke. People have lost their livelihoods to that thing. It's not a monster. I know that much. We've learned all we can from the shore. Then at least get a decent radio from Haru's shop. That way, if you get into trouble out there and need my tugboat and winch, you can call. Well, that reminds me. I've been summoned to a meeting at Town Hall. Want to come along, Dad? I can introduce you to Mayor Tremblay. Hey, Tremblay! Addisons, did you see that name? That's a familiar name that I haven't seen in a couple of years. Very fancy. I'll wear my best outfit. This one. How about that, dude? This is a weird name to see. All right, on the way. Could you send home Casper? I'd rather not have both of you to worry about. Be careful out there on the water check. I mean it. Dr. Tremblay, the mayor of the town. That's where he retired. It's going to be a busy few days. What shall we tackle first? Let's speak to Sarah at the boat shop. Get our trawler. There's a whole ocean out there to explore. I'd like to get away for a while. Alright, so meet with Mayor Tremblay. That is too funny still. Pay for the 2 cats repairs. I don't think I have 100 yet, do I? Bring new species to the aquariums. 10, okay. Purchase a radio. How much does that cost? At the tech shop. Well, I need to know how much it costs. How am I gonna buy it if I do not know how much it costs? How much it costs? Your book has a bunch of tabs. I believe it. How can I help? Tell me how much a radio costs. Slave to the radio. Slave to the radio. 100 clams. Everything costs 100, huh? That's the vibe I'm getting. Seems to me like everything costs 100 clams. What's that all about? I gotta find a fishing spot. I really thought there'd be one. Somewhere. I gotta fish because I gotta make money. Dock behind house has fishing. Good to know. I guess I didn't add any bait, did I? Night fishing. A white belly. Isn't this place an economical anomaly? Everything costs 100 clams. Dapper Dan man myself. Alright, I'm still using low bait. I'm using the jig. I'm using a balance rod. Why change it up? Ain't broke. Don't fix it. I'm drinking my water, sir. You got it. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, absolutely. That's one of those movies that I've seen so many times. Just too many times. If such a thing exists. I feel like I should just double them in and just call it a day, because that's working so well. Cast it out. Lock it down. Twice in. Bam, bam. Easy peasy. This is clearly the only way to do this. 2 in, 2 out. It's midnight. I'm fishing at midnight. It's easy right now. Yeah, these are famous last words, aren't they? Alright, I'm catching a lot of white bellies. Whoa, white belly. Lamb and lamb. White belly had a child. White belly went wild. I'm gonna try maybe a different lure. Let's try a different lure. See if that changes things up. Change your lure. Remember to give one of each to the aquarium. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I play Animal Crossing. I play Animal Crossing, bro. I got this easy. Unlock. Glowing shore. Wow, that feels rare. Alright. Does it tell you if it's already been donated on their, like, screen? Like right there? That's where I want it to tell me. I want it to tell me on that they've been donated before. That's what I want. I don't know if that exists, but that's what I'm wanting. It will when you turn it in. You'll get the real names of the fish and such. Oh, this is not their real name. This is not a slicing tail? I know so little about fish that I would have believed it. I would have believed it if you told me. Got another slicing tail. Alright, starting to get a bunch of slicing tails. It is bright for 3 o'clock in the morning. Only in Canada, I guess. I got the weirdest light patterns. Alright, I've gotten that one before. So we're catching dupes now. Unamas. Unamas before changing lures. Ooh, what was that? Ooh, a pollock. That feels different. I think I've turned that in before, but that's definitely different from the ones I've been getting. Alright, last lure. Blink, blink. Let's do it. We'll go for like 5 fish. Another 5, and then we'll go turn in what we got and cook the rest. Make some money! Gatling. Oop, I didn't cast that one very far. I wonder if distance makes a difference as to what fish you can catch. Maybe, because that's the first time I've ever even seen that one. But I am using a different lure, so it's hard to say. Well, folks in the chat, how is Hump Day treating you? Distance just affects time to hook, so they hook faster further away. Ooh, an ocean angel! Ocean angel, ocean angel. All right, day 2. It's officially morning. I'm gonna need more caffeine to make it through. I feel that. But you're still not drinking coffee, out of sense? Or are you still managing to hold off on the liquid delight of coffee? I'll never understand how it's possible. Uno mas. Last one. Last one before we go. Drop them off at the aquarium and then cook. Like my wonderfully flavored chemical drinks. Man, I cannot imagine. Will I ever want to actually release them? Why would I want to release anything? It just seems silly. I'm so excited for my Vespa. Is it closed? 8 o'clock? Well, I only gotta wait 10 minutes. That's not that long. I have some fish for you! Girl octopus. Okay, so she just wants things. All right, I haven't dropped off one of these. Boink, 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 boink. Do it. Late game, release the little stuff when you want the big ones. Ah. All right. Now then. Now that we've done that, we got to go cook the rest. I need to see what do people have asked for stuff. Where do I see that information? I know a bunch of people have asked me for things, but I don't see them. Oh no. Nope, nope. Whoa, no. Well. I guess I just needed to write those things down, and you know what? I sure didn't. Who needs friends? Not me, that's what I say. I see the dock now. Alright, let's do it. It's time to cook. How'd my dog get in so fast? What'd the dog do? Okay. Let's see. So whole fish sells big. Sizzling fish sells somewhat smaller than that. This one I gotta have crab for. Well, obviously I want the one that sells big, yeah? Oh, I see. These are specific fishes. Got it. Well, I got lots of them. Let's make it happen, Captain. Get fish. Get fish or die trying, that's what I say. Get fish or die trying. No, dirty fish! I can't do the dishwasher. What's the deal with that, huh? What's the deal with me in the dishwasher? I can't do it. I want to. I want to do the dishwasher better, but it won't let me. Let me try again. Wash. Stop moving so quick. This is harder than Stardew fishing, dude. I can't wash the fish! I want it! I want to wash the fish, but this game won't let me! No! I burnt it! That was the worst thing I've ever made. Oh, this is miserable. This is my living nightmare. Get the fish. Wash the fish. I gotta buy a better sink. Yes, we're finally in the green at least. Okay, finally I got to 100%. Alright, chopping time. Pow! 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 Fry time. And bake time. Pow! Perfection. Alright, this does cost me though, so does that actually, it doesn't add up right. I'm gonna do this. Oh, look at all these things I have to cook. None of these have recipes? You always fail at frying? I'm alright at frying. I just can't wash. I feel like my get fish or die trying joke is not getting enough praise. I think it needs high praise. I think I need people to tweet that. It's so funny. I got 3 bars. You unlock recipes as you master the easy ones, master by doing it a bunch. Bake. Did it! Wow! We the best. What was the... Oh, there we go. Alright, last but not least. Just barely. Just barely, dude. Man, that was tough. We are lucky. Oh, that's right here at the end, huh? About as easy as it comes. Nice, dude. Let's go make some money. Buca Dolores. Kind of scared me a little bit there for just a second. Pick off all 4. What's up? Oh, I can choose where they go in the vending machine? That's kind of cute. Alright, let's make us some money, baby! Make us some moolah. Yes, sirree. In the meantime, we're gonna go fishing. Oh, I'm out of bait. Oh no, I need more bait. I ain't wasting my time fishing without any bait, you hear? This is, as far as I understand it, 100% a fishing game. Did I miss literally all of them? Oh, I got 2, okay. Kind of in and out this morning. Sorry if that's an obvious question. You are all good, Zando. As far as I understand it, it is in fact 100% a fishing game. There are 4 biomes. Gotta head to class. All good, Christina. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're actually hopping off in 5 minutes anyway, so you're not hopping off that early. Short streams on Wednesday. Wednesday. Alright. Ooh, they restocked. They restocked as soon as I went away. Oh, hello there.
Oh, hi, Mr. Fisher.
Hey, Casper, what's up? You seem sad.
Oh, nothing. I smelled this herb a while ago. It reminds me of my dad. I can't think of the name.
Cilantro? Mrs. Chips grow loads of it. It's pretty common.
That's it. Dad used to cook this meal with it all the time. But I can barely remember what it tastes like now, and I don't ever want to forget.
I guess it doesn't taste like soap. Maybe we can help. Is there farming? I don't know, because nothing happened. Nothing changed. All right, cool. 4 biomes. I'm obsessed now. I took a look at the new Lost Origins card. There's a Machamp that seems pretty awesome. It has an ability called Crisis Muscles. Gives a bonus 100 HP if your opponent has 3 or less prize card remaining. That's pretty dope. Talk about hitting them while they're down, dude. For real, though. Are you sure it's not if you have less than 150? If what you say is true, that is so cruel. Alright, I gotta get my boat. Get my boat. Let's get our boat and then wrap it up.
What?
None of these. Good timing, I just finished replacing the intake valve, and for you, the keys of the 2 cats. Thanks very much. I don't see a car. How are you towing it? I'm not, I'm sailing. Sailing? Yeah, on the bay. On the bay? Are you alright? Sorry, yeah, but no one ever sails Moonglow Bay. Not since the collapse. Let's just say the tides are turning. In that case, I know one young girl that'll certainly be pleased. Claire, Abby's daughter. If you catch up with her, she might have a small job for you. Aside from that, be safe out there. These are strange waters. It has 100 HP, 150. It gets the bonus if your opponent has 3 or less. Man, that is cruel, but I love it. The world is your oyster, and our fish, and our lobster, and every other creature out there. Where should we explore first? Who's that? What's out there? A lot. The weather can shift dramatically depending on where we go. We're in the calm bay waters here, but it gets a lot colder near the glaciers to the north. Then over the east, there's the waking storm west and the hot springs. Each area is split into sections, which will help you navigate. For now, let's catch some fish in the bay waters area. Let's check out Azure Crossing, Perching Isles, and Border Sea. Whoa! Boat time. Boat. Is my engine RT, maybe? It is. Oh, well, this appears to be clearly a fishing spot. I made them run. Look at that, that's like a school. Whoa. How? Oh, whoa. Whoa! Okay. See if I can do it. Net. I really tried. I promise I tried. Yeah! Yes. Yes! Alright, I honestly couldn't have done that any better. So I think that if that didn't work, that was Bogue. Am I doing something wrong here? It feels like exactly what I'm supposed to do. But I got nothing. That's for pole fishing. Okay, well I was about to say something about that seems a little whack. Alright, we're gonna save over my last game. Maybe. Overwrite, yeah. And there we go. That has been Moonglow Bay. Chats in the clap for Dane with an excellent recommendation. I dig it. I like it. I can definitely play more of it. I'd be down to clown with some more of Moonglow Bay. I think that was very fun. I've already done this. Yes! There we go. How do I back out? Boom. We're gonna go find somebody to raid real fast, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I appreciate everybody tuning in on the stream today. I think this has been a fun one. Apologies that we didn't have a nerdy sermon this past Sunday. That's just kind of how it goes. Great little cozy game for chilling. Totally agree. Mills Church Gaming. That's pretty neat. I love that the Mills are live. We're a big fan of them. Who do we got in the chat right now? Sneaky Zando, Dane, Christina had to hop out, I think. Wandering Knight. I feel like we ought to raid them. I don't know. They have their own church community. That's kind of their own thing. I don't want to mess them up. We're gonna go raid Love Thy Nerd. That's pretty quickly becoming our Wednesday tradition. We're gonna go raid Love Thy Nerd. They're playing some marbles. Go win some marbles matches, folks. Folks, we are Checkpoint Church. We are a church for nerds, geeks, and gamers here on Twitch, Discord, and YouTube, streaming almost every single day of the week, most weeks. And we're over on Discord 24/7 and on YouTube every single Sunday at 10 o'clock. Well, not every single Sunday, clearly, but most Sundays. And we believe 3 things to be true about every single one of you out there. Number 1, we believe that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on Twitch, Discord, and YouTube. And number 3, we believe that you, yes, you, no matter who you are, whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, like church, don't like church, none of those things change this. You matter. You're a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, until the next time I see you, go spam some You Matters in the chat of Love Thy Nerd. Tell Frost, have a happy Wednesday, and I will catch you guys around the Discord. Until next time, bye-bye!